Okay, looks like we're live. How about that? Maybe. Let's get all our stuff, our ducks in a row here. And do that, do that. Scoot this over here, like so. There we go. And let's see. We're still a little early, but that's all right. That's all right. Let's do a little, what do they call it? Housekeeping? Housekeeping? It's called cover your ass out here. That's what it's called out here. Your ass. And for the people that can't read real fast, all right. Now we got our housekeeping done. Where's my deal? There it is. There we go. 701. Well, hello. How you doing? First time I don't recognize your deal. First time you're in here. We're a little early today. Give it a few minutes. A few more people will show up, hopefully. Hey, if not, we'll just have a conversation. How about that? While we're waiting, I ask this. You don't have to do it, but I usually ask everybody that comes in chat where they're from, and you can just put the country if you want. You don't have to be specific. Put your country or your state, just whatever you feel comfortable with. Been a subscriber for a while. All right. Well, I appreciate that, man. You know, I don't never ask for people to, I don't do the little spiel like everybody else does, always. So, subscribe and like this video. Yeah. If you want to subscribe to my channel, okay. If you don't like the video, it's great. I appreciate it. I do appreciate it. I just don't beg for it. Dag. Really? Now, is that really? That is, wow, that's just, that blows my mind. Blows my mind. You can understand what the hell I'm saying, as bad as my accent is. There's lots of there's Andrew. Hey, Andrew, how you doing? Oh yeah, we are the clone. I'm the clone king. That's my, and I don't shy away from it. 701, I don't shy away from it at all. I'm the clone king. My whole channel is dedicated to getting you the best vape you can get for the least amount of money. Now, and a lot of people, a lot of other people don't like me because of that. Of course, do I care? No. I don't care one little bit. Okay. Looks like everything's still good. Let's go back over here. All right. Now, I wish this wouldn't do this. It does it every time I change screens. But yeah, I'm I don't mind calling myself the clone king. Hell. I'm not beholden to anybody except myself. That's who I'm beholden to. And I'm going to get me the very best vape I can get for the least amount of money. And I thought I would simply share that. Because when I first got into vaping, that was what really resonated with me, was how cheap vaping was compared to smoking. And this was 10 years ago. And that's what really sold me on the vaping, plus the fact that, it worked perfectly for me. And I was saving enough money to do make a car payment. It was astronomical. Hello, Anthony. How you doing, buddy? I don't know if I got you on my little list or not. Yeah, I got you. You're from Florida. Yeah, okay. And there's Pierre. I'm saying your name right, I hope, this time. Thanks for coming in. I think for the first time he came in, I called him Perry. It's Pierre, I think. I hope. Oh, just getting home from work. All right. Well, you know, have a coffee, have a beer, have a Bud Light if you want. If you swing that way, have you a Bud Light. Oh, in my old age, I have coffee. I got coffee right now. Of course, it's early out here for me. It's 1 o'clock out here on the West Coast. But there's Neil. How you doing, Neil? So, but I drink coffee hell almost all day long. If I'm not working out in the garage, if I'm in the house, I usually drink coffee till it gets up to about 110. Then we switch over to iced tea. But yeah. It's only supposed to be about 80 out here today. Of course, we have no humidity. We're not like y'all. And I know I lived in Central Texas. I know what 90% humidity is all about. Lived there most of my life, and so I do know what it's about. And out here, it's dry. You know, hell, if it's 20%, it's people are talking about it. Oh my God, the people are dying out here if it gets to 30%. But there's Mick, all the way from down under. Yeah. Mick. I don't know why I want to say Nick. It's Mick. I hope you're stocked up, brother. I think you told me one time you were stocked up a little bit. I hope you're continuing to stock up. Of course, how are things? Question for 701. How is it? Is it easy or hard to get vape stuff where you're at? I have no clue. Well, Neil, I don't know about that. I've heard that. I think that's an old wives' tale. I really do. Uh, uh, and it gets liquid into you, but it doesn't lower your core temperature or your body temperature. Whereas if you drink some, of course, they tell you, not to even drink ice cold water when it's that hot because I don't think somebody not being good for you. You're supposed to drink like cool water or something like that. But as far as it cooling, no, that's an old wives' tale. Because if you have a oh, Pierre, I did. Why didn't I? Have I got you wrote down here? Don't think I do. I didn't. It's on me. I started assuming shit, and with that kind of name, I assumed you were. In France. I'm sorry. I don't mean to offend. It's just my old dumb country ass, you know. I do catch Kazar's show every now and then. I have a hard time understanding him. sometimes, and but I do watch a show from time to time, and I did hear about that uh, tax they were going to some kind of tax they were going to throw on y'all. It's just amazing where you live in the world, the hoops you got to jump through to get your vape stuff, and it's a mess. Neil, I used to drink Gatorade when I raced, when I drag raced, because most of the time it was in Texas. Man, my God, it's 110. You're wearing full leathers, and yeah, you make one 8-second run. You're on the bike for 8 seconds, and you go back to the pit, and you instantly down like a quart of Gatorade because, the sweat's just rolling off of you. I did it mainly because of the electrolytes and stuff that was in it. It was the reason I drank it over water, was to get the electrolytes. And this was back in the day. This was before you could buy the fancy shit they got now that's got electrolytes in it. If you wanted, back in them days, if you wanted, to replenish your electrolytes, well, hell, that was your only choice. Oh my God, Neil, you got 5K funds going. Well, I hope you breathe some new life into them. I'm still vaping on my K-Fun X, my clone. Just happy as I can be with this one. But the weird thing about being out here, it can be 110, 115, and if you're in the shade and you got a little bit of breeze, it's not that bad. It really is not bad. And the humidity is so low. Sweat never runs down, how sweat will run down your face and, run down everything, basically. That never happens out here because the minute the sweat pops out of your skin, it evaporates and it's gone. Now, at the end of the day, if you're working, when I was building my house, at the end of the day, I would have a crust on my arms, white crust, and it was salt. And it was because, I had sweated, but it had evaporated so fast. The only thing left was the salt. And it was a crust. You could scrape it onto your fucking French fries, But it's really weird. It's really weird, but it's not, it's not that, the real high temp, as long as the humidity is low, it's really not that, it doesn't feel that bad. I'll put it that way. It's got to be hard on your body. Yeah, I know, Neil, Arkansas about like Texas when it comes to humidity. Yep. Let me catch up on the chat. I don't know which one, Mick, I don't know which one of them is the M. I hadn't got here yet, but I did order me one of those Iron Fist pods from UL because it takes the old G coils, G and G2, I think, takes both of those. I did order me one, hadn't got here yet. Because my old EVO that I used the G coils in from the UL G coils, Caliburn G coils, I used it. It fit my little other little pod deal that the pods don't wear out on. I'm still using the same damn pod it come with, and it's been years now. But that's just me. Oh, the dual coil. No, I don't guess I've seen that one yet. Oh, that you're talking about the big thing. Is it a pod with dual coils? I don't guess I've seen that yet. Might be interesting. Do do do. Yeah, but there are good. There's good and bad clones. You know, that's rolling dice. You're rolling the dice. But if you get lucky, just like at the dice table, if you come up a winner, well, shit, you saved a bunch of money. If you come up a loser, then you lost a little bit of money. You know, it's roll the dice, and I tell that to everybody, especially if I'm reviewing a clone. I say it right off the bat. You know, you're rolling the dice. Well, I like to say, Neil, I got the little Iron Fist coming. I don't where they come up with these names. I don't have a damn clue why you would call a little pod thing Iron Fist. I don't know. It's a China thing, I think. You know, they're going back to they want to be kung fu. I don't know. Oh, now you're talking about. I think I know which one you're talking about. You're talking about the one that has the little like switch on it, and the coil it'll either fire half the coil or to fire the rest of all the coil. Is that the one you're talking about, Mick? Now, Neil, I'll tell you what. I don't know if you can still find them or not, but these original Pasitos, they've been out for years. You might can still find them somewhere. They had an RBA section you can buy. In fact, I've got videos on it. It's a little bitty thing, really hard to build on, but that's the reason this one right here has it in there. And I don't have a display, so I can't tell you what it's firing on or the damn resistance. I think I got like, I don't know, 30 gauge Canthal in it, maybe, if I remember right. It's been a long time since I've replaced the coil in it. But if you can find one of these old Pasitos, they sell an RBA section for it, so you don't have to buy coils. It's the reason I got it. If all they offer was coils, the only one I'm going for is something that takes that caliber and G coil. Otherwise, everything that I buy has to offer an RBA section, you know. And everybody, I don't want to really call anybody out, these real reviewers, but everybody that I've watched that did a review on the new Pasito, which looks almost identical to this one, just the refill's different. The way it's got a plug instead of unscrewing the top, like this one unscrews like the old Orion does. But every time I see a damn video on one, and these are supposedly reputable reviewers, I go down in the comments. I simply ask, do the old Pasito coils for the first Pasito fit into this new one? Now, I don't think that's too much to ask. I really don't. Now, you know, if you don't know, tell me you don't know. But I have not got any response from the reviewers that I've asked that question of. No response whatsoever. And I was nice. I was cordial. But, you know, they didn't even want to, maybe they just don't want to say, I don't know. Maybe, I forget who makes this damn thing. Smoant. Maybe Smoant told them not to say anything. Don't know. Now, the coils in this one weren't all that good. They worked, but they weren't impressive. But the RBA section works just fine. It's hard to build on, but it works just fine. But yeah, Mick, I think I know which one you're talking about now. That's the one that has the little the coil that has like three legs on the mesh, where they can fire half the mesh or all the mesh. I think that's the one you're talking about. But yeah, Neil, if you can get your hands on one of them old original Pasitos and get your hands on the RBA section, you'll be fixed up. And I've got some. Hell, I bought a bunch of them. I've still got some up there that are God knows how many years old they are, and they still work. The batteries are getting a little weak. You can tell. You know, it don't last quite as long as it used to, but it'll still last me a day, or a trip to town or something like that. Of course, then we lost a lot of that. Yeah, it's going to be hard to find that because, it's only going to be some little China company, I'm sure. And we lost all that when Fast Tech bellied up. They were great for having a bunch of real old stuff and had it in stock, and the bad thing about, I get most of my stuff now from 3F Vape, and they just don't like, they won't stock really old stuff or little neat shit like Fast Tech used to. I really miss Fast Tech. Well, Pierre, it's legal here. In the state I'm in, Arizona, it's legal. There's I don't know if there's one or two. It's just, I live in a little small town, but yeah, we got, sure enough, one dispensary up there. You can go in and buy whatever the hell you want to buy. Now, I will tell you a little story because it's entertaining if nothing else. And it kind of makes me look bad, but hey, it happened. And I don't really shy away from stuff, even if it's on me. But I never was a marijuana person back in high school, I believe. Yeah, probably high school, right out of high school, somewhere along in there. I thought I'd give it a little try, and so I tried it. And back in them days, of course, it wasn't, that was some weak shit. And back in them days, the penalty for getting caught with it was, you went to jail. The penalty for getting caught, even driving back in them days, and this is a long time ago, with a 6-pack of beer and one between your legs or one in the cup holder opened, the penalty on that was the police poured your beer out and sent you on your way if you even could drive. And that was it. That was it. So if you weighed the penalties against the euphoria, high, whatever you want to call it, that you got from either the alcohol or the THC, if you weighed the penalties versus the benefits, we'll call it, well, the alcohol was the way to go, So anyhow, I tried it. Like I say, it wasn't much different for me than drinking 3 beers. So, yeah, I didn't pursue it. But anyhow, the other day, okay, not the other day, but here a while back, they passed the law legalizing it here in Arizona and everything. Got the, the dispensaries opened up. And now we had one when it was okay, because they did it out here. They did it first. It was okay for medical. So they had one open up to sell the medical. And then this other one across town opened up when they totally legalized it. And then just anybody 21 or over could go in. So I said, well, I don't really want to smoke it, but, they got just so many options these days. By the way, let me see a show of hands. Who saw Rip's little short on Delta 8? Anybody see that? If not, you need to go watch it. It's one of those little short YouTube things. Rip did one on Delta 8. Anyhow, so I go up there. Well, it's been 40 years since I even knew anything about it. I go in, I had to show them my ID to get in the door, just to get in the door. And, I walk over to the counter. I mean, this is a nice place. They got fully staffed. They got lots of people. So I walk up to the counter, and a little girl asked me what I'm looking for. And I said, well, I was interested in maybe some edibles. She says, okay, right over here. So we go over there, man, they just got a whole wall full, She said, how did she put it? I don't remember now. And I'm not up on the terminology, the drug terminology. But she was asking me what variety of plant was I looking for. I said, I don't know. I said, I ain't got a clue. Of course, she named them off. Still didn't mean shit to me. She said, well, what were you looking for? She said, I said, what is the difference? She says, well, one of them kind of bumps up your energy, and the other one kind of calms you down. I said, that's the one I want, to calm down. So she fixes me up, little package. She says, now we got these on sale, and they're 2 for this amount. I said, sounds like a bargain to me. So I bought me these 2 little pouches, and there's, I think the way it was done, there were gummies, little gummies, and there, I think there's, I'd have to go read the package, but there were 100 milligrams per gummy or something. What do? Of course, I come home. I don't do shit till I get home in my house, not on the road driving. Good thing I did. So I look at the little deal, and best I can figure out, you're supposed to eat one. Okay. I get one out, ate it, okay, everything's doing good. A little while later, start kind of feeling the effect. Okay, kind of calm, relaxed, easy going. Oh, shit, this is great. Then that effect kind of started compounding. And then I got, I guess call it a little nauseous. And then I had a hot flash from hell. I'm serious. I would have not been any hotter than if I'd been sitting next to the devil discussing the next world domination thing. I mean, I was dying from a hot flash. I get and this was in the wintertime, okay? So I get up, I can barely walk. I'm walking like I just drank a fifth of Jack Daniels, okay? Finally make it over to the wall switch, turn the damn ceiling fans on. I finally get back to my recliner. I'm laying there, nothing on but some underwear. I would have stumbled, and this is in the wintertime, I would have stumbled over to the damn windows and opened them up, but I didn't think I could make it that far. So I basically just sit there and I had this just god awful experience in this hot flash from hell. And the only thing that I didn't really get upset was I had one of the real nice blood pressure monitors, with the cuff and all. And so I took my blood pressure. It was pretty decent. Pulse, pretty decent. So, hey, it's just the effects of that uh, THC. Obviously, too damn much of it. So eventually, after about an hour, it started wearing off, and I got better and better till I got back to normal. But my God, yeah, I hadn't touched them again since then, and if I ever do, I will not be eating a whole one. We'll do it like a half or something to see how that works. But it fucked me up. Yeah, that's not a good. That's a very good recommendation, Neil, because that whole one fucked me up. Now, see, we got a bunch of people in here today. We got everybody, but Adrian. He's the one. And Adrian. He's off on holiday, off the grid. We were talking about temperature control, and he kind of convinced me to give it a try. Well, I did. I put me a spaced stainless steel round wire coil in this FEV, and I just happened to put it on this Argus, not Vupu, Vupu Argus. Turned it over temperature control. Set it for I think 390, 400, somewhere along there. And I was impressed. It worked great. I'm going, well, why the hell hadn't I been doing this? So I have to tell him, he converted me. But now I do have a question for anybody in chat that is really up on temperature control. Because I don't know shit about it because I never did do it. And there's very few videos on it out there now that, they tell you about it, and they tell you how it works, but they don't tell you how to build a coil. They don't tell you this or that or another. If you have this problem, they don't do a video like I do it. Put it that way. Okay, Perry, if you might be a good expert on it. And I called you Perry again. Pierre, sorry. Of course, me not knowing shit about it. First deal I started off with, 26 gauge stainless steel round wire, 3 millimeter ID, 6 or 7 wraps, whatever I could stuff in this. Space coil. Worked great. I said, well, shit. We need to get us a little more up on our coil here. So right quick this morning, and I'm vaping it right now, but I ain't got it on temperature control. So right quick this morning, I made me just twisted wire, 2 strands, 28 gauge stainless steel. Made me a nice little space coil, put it in there. Didn't work for shit on temperature control. Now, did I do something wrong, or what happened there? What did I do wrong? Because it didn't even try to work anymore on temp control. I got it on watts right now. It's working fine. But now I don't have the ohms locked or anything. Yeah, it was 2 came off the same roll. Just pull it off, double it, spin it up with a drill, and it came out at the coil. Come out at 0.43 ohms. That's what the coil come out to. But now I'll tell you what, it didn't work worked so poorly that before I even put the cotton in it, I just had just the coil. I brought it all the way down. The lowest mine will go is 200 degrees. Of course, it's Fahrenheit, so as dead low as it'll go. Hit the fire button, and it would still glow the coil red. So I'm just really wondering what the deal is, where I went wrong. But before I screwed it up, it was working great. I really was impressed. I even went to the point of seeing, and I guess I just got lucky, because this Argus is the only mod I got that will do temperature control straight out of the box, just like it is. This other little taggers mod, of course, it was $20. I didn't really expect it to do much, but my good Aspirea, I kind of expected it to do it. It won't do temperature control as good as this will. I mean, it'll kind of do it, but not near as good as this will. Just out of the box, without jacking with anything. How high were the watts in temperature control? I have no idea. I didn't set any of that. It's whatever the default was. But what scared me was the fact that it wasn't like it glowed red, then brought it back down and maintained. It was just like it wasn't even in temperature control. It just fired up, started glowing red, and I mean the wire, and glowed red from then on, as long as my finger was on the button. Yeah, I got it set to stainless steel. Yeah. And like I say, the only thing I did different was I took the round wire coil out and put a twisted round wire coil in. That was the only thing I did different. I just wondered where I went astray. So theoretically now, it shouldn't matter if it's a complex coil or if it's round wire. Is that correct? I mean, it doesn't really matter. And, well, I didn't even notice this today. Looks like we're dropping a few frames again. Oh my God. This piece of junk internet. That would not cause any problem. Well, I don't know what I did wrong. I did something wrong. It may be because I just don't know how to run the mod good enough. How to get in and jack with everything. I did do one of those curve things a long time ago on something. I don't even remember which damn mod it was I did it on. And, I figured out how to do all that, and it kind of worked okay. I didn't have a problem with it. Okay. So what my main, hold on. I might need to figure out how to lock the ohms. Maybe that's what I need to do. Okay, so am I right in thinking, because I've got some 316 stainless steel. Of course, it's, it's China wire, but, that aside, staggered fused Clapton. But according to the label, it's all stainless steel wire. So am I correct in thinking this would actually work under temperature control or not? Measure the ohms. Okay, and then while it's cold, and lock it. Huh. Okay. Well, I never did. I know I didn't lock it because I don't know how, even know how. The first time around, I guess I just got lucky. And the coil will work. All right. Well, I will have to dig the book out. I still got the book on this mod somewhere because I've actually updated this one because it was one I could update the firmware for. And so I did figure out how to update the firmware a long time ago. And so I still got the book somewhere. I'll dig it up and we'll explore some of it. But like I say, I haven't found a video that gave me as much information as you guys just now. There's Mr. Robert Skrelly. How you doing, sir? Thanks for coming in. If you just got here, we were having a little discussion about temperature control, and I'm learning stuff from my friends here in chat on how to do this stuff, how to do temperature control. So I did try it the other day and kind of liked it, but then I tried it again and screwed up. But it looks like it's all on me, which is not uncommon at all. I don't know, Neil. You know, Phil took down like almost all his damn videos because, you know, he's so damn scared of YouTube. He took down, a vast amount of his videos. And, you know, there's plenty of videos out there explaining how it works, and I understand because, believe it or not, even though I sound like a country hick, I do understand electronics, understand ohms, resistance, changing the temperature, and monitoring and adjusting it. I understand all that, but you know, I just hadn't found a good video on saying. I mean, until the other day, and Adrian told me, said, you know, do a spaced coil. I didn't know that the spaced coil would work a whole lot better than a closed coil on temp control. Because if you go watch all the damn temp control videos are old, and you know, you got people throwing closed coils in everything and claiming they're fine. Of course, you know. Now, Pierre, I did watch one of his videos, but it wasn't a how-to video. He was doing the explanation thing, more or less explaining how it worked. It wasn't a good how-to video, if you know what I'm saying. It wasn't. I've yet to see a video that has told me as much as y'all have about, you know, put it on cold, lock the ohms and all. I've yet to see a video tell me that. And lock in the ohm and all that stuff. Of course, you know, I'm stubborn. I'm old and I'm stubborn, and I do realize if I had a DNA chip in anything I own, I would probably be well off at this point if that's the road I wanted to go down. But I am just too old or too stubborn to do the DNA thing. Well, we got a new person here, Zine. Zine? Zine? Hope I'm not butchering it too bad. Thanks for coming in, buddy. I'm terrible with names. Absolutely terrible. I did change the subject here a little bit, though. Probably nobody here saw it, but a week or so ago, when Mark Vaping Fagan was doing his little mail thing, what he got in the mail, and he got him a Scraper Rise. And I put in the chat, then I called it. I was the first one to call it. I said he'll never get the juice flow control timed. I called it. Sure enough. Sure enough, Squape is supposedly sending him another one because he claims this one's broke. He had an authentic. Now, I got a clone. I got 2 clones because I bought 2 from different companies to compare them. Ended up liking this one better. And that little piece in there even kicked Jay Hayes' ass for a good, I don't know, 30 minutes or more. God knows how much he edited out of the video. But it kicked his ass for a long time. I didn't have no problem with it. I'm sorry. I'm not tooting my own horn. You know, it's like I told Mark, go watch my video and then put your damn thing together correctly and you'll be good to go. But yeah, that little thing kicks a lot of people's ass, you know. And it's really simple. It really is not as hard as they make it out to be. I don't understand why Squape doesn't, because all you gotta do is put it in once, and then unless you want to take it out to clean, you don't have to take it out. And if you don't go in there and jack with it, it doesn't get out of time. And why don't they ship it together? You know, put the little thing in, you know, lube the damn O-rings up good with some VG, put the damn little thing in, put it all together. So all you got to do is pop the top off, put your coil in, fill it with some juice, and you're good to go. Why they don't do that? I have no idea. It's extremely weird. Plus the fact that people have so much damn trouble with that little thing. Now, I didn't have any trouble with it. I had to, of course, since mine was a clone, I had to do the normal little O-ring thing down here on the bottom. I had to find me some O-rings that fit better than the ones they had put on there. It wasn't a matter of leaking. It was a matter of it being too tight. You know, so I had to just play with the O-rings till I found some that fit the way I wanted them to fit. That's normal on clones. You know, you got a lot of times you'll play the little O-ring game on clones all the time. But yeah, I never was so tickled watching Jay Hayes' video because he stuck the damn thing in and then fought with it for God knows how long with a pair of needle nose and whatnot, trying to get it back out, you know. And in my video, I just take this ain't it, but the factory drip tip. I take the factory drip tip, turn it around, and just push it. And the little thing falls out. And it's just it's so funny. I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm not. Go watch the video. It's just so funny for me to, you know. But I called it. I knew Mark wasn't gonna. He was gonna struggle with that. I don't even know what the hell they call it. Juice flow control is what I call it. Little deal. I knew he was going to have trouble with that. But yeah, I dusted mine off here the other day and put a new coil in. It's vaping just fine. It's a good little tank. It's a little over engineered, but it's not really. I'll tell you what else I thought about doing, and I still may do it since I got two. So that means I got an extra set of little airflow inserts, and they'll interchange between the two clones. I thought about taking taking one of them and drilling out a couple of the holes, say the one that's got the 4 little holes, drill out the two outside ones, drill them out a little bit more so I get a little more airflow. Thought about doing that. I just ain't got around to it. Well, Zine, this is the Swape Arise clone sitting on a Z1 from Geek Vape, I think. And this is a FEV. I got a video on it. Everybody needs to own a FEV. And damn good little tank. It's on an Argus mod. Long as hell, though, as you can see. Long as hell. But this was the one I was playing around with the temperature control we were talking about earlier on. Now, my favorite at the moment, especially with my coffee, is my K-Fun X clone. It's just sitting on a little $20 Taggart's dual 18650 mod because we're just doing it mouth to lung. And hell, we're only going 26 watts with it. But at the moment, this is my favorite mouth to lung tank. And we got our RY4 one shot in it. Just absolutely perfect pairing with coffee. For me, it's just dead nut perfect. RY4 and coffee. But yeah, I had never even, because I had never done temperature control and really wasn't interested in it, that wasn't a selling point for a mod. It's like these Z1s. They don't even do temperature control. They just do watts, I think. They might do voltage too, but yeah, they don't do temperature control. So, which wasn't a big deal for me because, I wasn't really interested in it. So I'll drag out the book and see if I can figure out how to work it. I think that was another reason why I never did it. You had to know what the hell you were doing. You had to study. I'm tired of studying. I'm old. I don't want to study no more. Of course, we got it on watts now. It's doing just fine. I mean, I could leave it there and be happy. It was just the temperature control was the way I had it set in just luck, obviously. The way it had worked out on that other coil, it did exactly what it was supposed to do, and it let me vape exactly the way I wanted to vape. I mean, it brought the temperature up real fast, so you didn't have to wait. Then it really slowed down so I could take a nice, relaxed, long vape and not be concerned. And it was working so damn great, I tell you. It was working so great. And of course, then I had to go and jack with it. Something I tend to do. Sometimes I never get it back as good as it was after I jack with it. I've had that happen. I'll admit to it. I was going to ask you about that, Neil. Had you got them in yet? When you do get them in, if you can, look back and see how long it took. I'd be curious, because when I was glancing at them just the other day, it looked like to me that they were coming from China. Even though you were buying them from Walmart, it looked like to me they were coming from China. So I'd be curious to know just how long it took to get them. But yeah, I guess that's another little rabbit hole I could go down, is the temp control rabbit hole. And once I get it, get fairly good at it, maybe I'll do a video on it, and so people like me can figure out how to do it. Because like I say, I watched quite a few videos, and every one I ever watched just said, set the deal to the wire that you're using and set your temp, and that's it. And it's like, well, yeah, that worked the first time around, but it ain't working now. Now, if you've been watching for the last few shows, yep, YouTube certified, buddy. That's the highest mark you can get nowadays. If you're YouTube certified, hell, that's better than a doctorate degree. What are you talking about? Shit. I may have to break down and buy me a DNA, Mick. It grinds on me a little on that. That was, and believe it or not, I used to have, at one point in time, I had a video, an old video, explaining why I didn't own, because I had several people ask me why I didn't own DNA devices. So I had enough people ask, I just made a video about it. And I got jumped on so profusely by the fanboys and whatnot. I took that video down. I took it down. It's the only video I've ever taken off my channel. And I just took it down. I said, to hell with it, So, yeah, you got to understand, this was before replay, okay? Because, there was, evolved chips before, I think, DNA chips or something along that line. This was years and years and years ago when I developed the problem with them. Not anything to do with their recent chips. Well, Pierre, you're one of the few people probably that got to see it. Man, I got jumped on that. You'd thought I was slamming Rip Trippers back in 10 years ago, back in his heyday. But just to give you a brief analogy, okay, I have nothing against a DNA chip. From all I can tell, they work great. They let you do all this stuff, hook it through into your computer, do e-scribe, all this kind of stuff. They obviously work great. I have nothing absolutely against the chip. I had a problem with one of the guys that owned the company. That's where I had the problem. Okay, I think his name was Brandon. I think, if I remember right, this was 100 years ago. I had a problem with him. I didn't have a problem with the chips, the equipment, the merchandise. I didn't have a problem with any of that. I had a problem with him. So That's where I'm coming from. Because I have a little bit of problem nowadays because they're anything you buy this DNA, well, they automatically tack 40 to 50 or more dollars onto it just because of the cost of that damn chip. So I have a problem with that just from just money standpoint. I just don't. And if it came down to where I had to have a DNA chip to do temperature control, well, I just won't do. I'm not going to pay $50 extra to be able to do temperature control. You know, it's not that much better of a vape. Well, Andrew, you just got to let go of that mouse button, buddy. When you had a little too much to drink, let go of the mouse. That way you won't accidentally order something. But yeah, this one, I mean, it really is vaping just fine. Watts. But I do, I want to, I do, I am going to dig the book out and play with it. Just if nothing else. Uh, oh yeah, I saw that, Neil. I saw that. I just don't know. You know, like I said, I ain't got nothing against the chips. Although it does seem like there could be a DNA rabbit hole, and I went without them this long. I was going to see if I could just continue to go without them. But I guess of course, you buy them on the used market. Maybe you're not uh, 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 paying that extra chip money, so that might be the way to go. We might have to get one. Might have to do business with him. We'll see. I'm still thinking it over. Plus, I wouldn't be giving my money directly to that company, so I may have to hit him up. It was I hope he. I don't know how long he might have got out of chat before, but I was trying to back on Mark's show the other day when he was slobbering so bad over that little RBA, Boral RBA he had gotten in. On how good it was. I'll bet you it had one of Angel's coils in it. And I tried to get him to say, hey, maybe some of this fantastic flavor is coming from these coils I got from Angel, but I couldn't get him to stop slobbering long enough to admit that. Because to me, that RBA that he was slobbering so bad over sure looked a lot like a K-Fun deck. Maybe that's just me, but when I saw it, you know, without seeing the air pin, it just looked like a K-Fun deck to me, and he's carrying on about how good the flavor is, and I'm going like, well, it's a K-Fun deck. What the hell did you expect? Now, before I get off this topic completely, if you watched a couple of my lives, I think I talked about my Kanthal coils rusting. And I was trying to figure out what the hell I was doing that caused the rust. And I got one, so I started doing experiments and whatnot. And while I was doing that, I started also on the tanks. I still had the Kanthal coils in. All right, Robert, thanks for dropping by, brother. I won't be able to come by tonight because my wife doesn't bowl in the summertime. So I'll be cooking dinner by the time y'all come on. And also in the after party deal, I'll be cooking and eating dinner during that time. It happens during the summer when her bowling league is over. But she bowls in the wintertime on a league, and that gives me Wednesday nights off, you might say. But anyhow, back to the rust. So I had some. I'd put new coils in, and I was extremely careful. Barely glow them, and real careful. There was some I even never dunked in water. Never dunked them. I just glowed them a very, very small amount, and then blew them out, brushed them off, made sure it still didn't have hot spots and all that kind of stuff. And it seemed like after, say a week, you clean them up, burn them off a little bit, clean them up, look at them real close. Damn things are rusted. And I'm not just, I'm like looking at them under some hellacious magnification. I even take them out, take them apart, take the Clapton off, and really get in there and play with it. Still rusted. So other than just the wire breaking down, maybe from heating it, and I was, I don't know that I'd have to put a spaced coil in to heat it any less than I was heating these to clean them. I think. But yeah, it was just, maybe I'm asking the coil to last too long or something, I guess. I don't know. I've switched over now to nichrome and the stainless steel. And right now I'm doing either just nichrome or just stainless steel. I'm not doing a hybrid of the two to see if that helps, because it's iffy that maybe either one of them could rust being put through the abuse deal. Either that or, like I say, maybe I'm just asking the coil to last too long. Maybe I don't know. But just to get you up to date, that's where we're at on the rust issue. Like I say, I had some I was really, really careful with. Never dunked them in water. Never really overheated them, you might say, and still rusted. All right, Pierre, thanks for dropping by, buddy. We're not going to be here on here too often much longer. Neil, I think it does. I remember looking it up one time, and the way I understand it, if you look up either nichrome or Kanthal, if you look up where the people make it, they say it's rust resistant. They don't say rust proof. They say rust resistant. Uh, is what they say. It's a mixture of iron, chromium, and aluminum. It's an alloy made out of iron, chromium, and aluminum. So, you know, I'm thinking, uh, and like I even had some good Timco wire, which is supposedly made in the United States, A1 Kanthal, and it did the same thing. So I did a little research on it. Like I say, either the Kanthal or the nichrome, the people that make it say it's rust resistant. They don't say rust proof. And I'm thinking it just from heating it. I think that the problem happens when you clean it. And you heat it up to clean it. That's when I think the problem happens. I think you degrade the wire a little bit when you glow it, either orange or red or whatever. Now the nichrome was just nickel and chromium, if I remember correctly. But even the people that make that say they say it's rust resistant. They don't say rust proof. And I think they even say the same thing about stainless steel, because once you abuse the hell out of it, I think even it'll rust if you abuse the hell out of it. So I guess it's dependent on how much you abuse it. All right, Mick. Thanks for coming by, buddy. Yeah, Andrew, it's just it's a heating element wire. Depending on the application, I mean, I don't know for a fact that toasters use it, but they use something similar. They use, there's lots of different heating element wires, but they could very well be using Kanthal. There's Mongo. How you doing, Mongo? Of course, You ain't taking your toaster and dumping it in water or e-juice or nothing like that. So, you know, I mean, I've never seen uh, a heating element uh, rust like in a little space heater or uh, any application like that, or toaster or electric oven or any of that type of application. I've never seen any of their elements rust, but uh, there again, you're not dunking it in e-juice, and you're not dunking it in water. So I don't know. Now, the only observation I have made is it seems to do it worse if it's a Clapton wire. And I don't know if it's because the stuff gets trapped between the core wire and the wrap, uh, or what. But I've seen it happen to round wire, but the coil lasted a whole lot longer before it rusted than if it was just a simple Clapton wire. I haven't made that observation. It seems to happen really fast. And I think that's what brought it to my attention, is because here in the last year or so, I started almost using nothing but at least a single core Clapton wire in all my stuff. And or most of it, 99% of it. And I started seeing the problem. As I know, I've run dual coil single round wire, dual coil round wires in some of my other old tanks. A nice little closed coil, round wire coil. I've run them like forever until the coil just wore out and they never rusted. You cleaned them the same way, heated them up, dunked them in the water, and never had an issue with them rusting. I mean, the coil wore out before they rusted. But I thought that was, and nobody else talking about it. It's like, maybe I'm the only person that has rusty coils. Well, hell, that wouldn't surprise me a bit, but anyhow, maybe I'm the only one that tries to get the long ass lifespan out of the coil. I don't know. Oh. Well, Mongo, I mean, I've done several deals on that. You can get a nice vape with just round wire. You really can. Of course, it depends. A lot of times it depends on the tank. I do have some tanks that just won't perform that well with round wire, but or single. I'll put it this way: a single round wire coil. Now, I don't have any that dual coil tanks that all of those I have will perform fine with round wire coils. But I do have some single coil tanks that you kind of got to at least put a Clapton in it or higher to get to really get the flavor to come out. I mean, it ain't like they don't work; they all work. Just a matter of how much better it would work. It works. It's like the difference between daylight and dark type deal. Now, there's some that don't matter. I mean, I get if it's like I say, if I can put two coils in it, shit, round wire does fantastic. But on some of them that you can only get a single in, I have noticed, not all, but on some, I have noticed a big difference between just a simple Clapton single core wire and a round wire bills. Not many, but I do have a few that just perform a whole lot better with it. And if you notice, you can kind of tell when you buy the tank, because some tanks that you buy will come with a single, dual, or higher little Clapton coil in the package. And some of them will come with a little round wire coil in the package. And you can almost, not all the time, but you can almost go by that if the tank will perform well with a round wire coil. Because if it would, they wouldn't go to the expense of putting this hellacious Clapton coil in there for free, if it will perform very well with a round wire coil. Now, I'll tell you what I hadn't done as far as the rust experiments go. And because like in this one right now, there's just a twisted stainless steel, just 2 strands of 28 twisted. That's it. And I haven't did the rust experiment with twisted Camthol wire, not Clapton, but just twisted, to see if that makes any difference. Because all the ones I've seen that had the problem were Clapton. And it didn't even matter. I had some, of course, it's China wire. So, read into that whatever you want. But I did have some China wire that was basically, it was just flat wire that they had put a wrap around. Of course, they called it an alien. It wasn't a damn alien, but that's what they called it. It rusted. It rusted too. So, kind of almost leaning toward, if you put a wrap around it, it kind of makes the problem worse. And in my little experiments, I allowed for that a little bit because I took in, I made some, and then, normally 9 times out of 10, if I'm re-wicking something, you heat it up, dunk it in the water, run it under the sink, whatever you want to do while it's hot. That pops loose all the carbon and shit. Of course, I think that's probably what also hurts the wire. But that being put to the side, I had the bad habit. If I cleaned it in my ultrasonic cleaner, in other words, heated it up, popped the carbon loose, and then throw the whole tank. If I say I was changing flavors or something, I throw the whole tank into my ultrasonic cleaner and let it run for 10 minutes. I had the bad habit of coming back and just taking the stuff up, flicking some of the water off, and then laying it on a paper towel and just letting it air dry. In other words, I didn't put it back on the mod and hit it right quick to totally dry the coil immediately. Thought maybe that had something to do with it. So I did an experiment and didn't speed it up, slow it down, or make any difference whatsoever. So yeah, Mongo, that would be a pain to make if you tried to make that by hand, even if you had the little machine, because the 32 is hard to, it's so small, it's hard. I mean, it's hard to deal with, much less be a core wire, and you got 2 of them, so you're trying to keep them straight. And then the 40 is just like angel hair, and it's just that would be hard to make. I wouldn't even attempt it. I've made some fused Claptons before by hand, but and they turned out fine. But my bare minimum on the inside was 28. I wouldn't go with anything smaller than a 28. In fact, I usually use 32 as my wrap on whatever I'm doing. I don't even go for so small. I had some 40. I've done 40, but my God, that stuff is hard to work with. That sounds like a very good mouth to lung coil, or even a restricted direct lung if you can get enough air over it. But yeah, it looks like a very good mouth to lung coil. That combination would be. And I see you put a question mark by twisted. What I mean by twisted is I take like this. I made this. Where'd it go? You're not going to be able to see it. I've got a little piece of it left. Where'd it go? It's very simple. It's some of the simplest stuff. And it's so old that is that going to focus? Probably not. I don't even have my up close done. Anyhow, it's twisted 28 gauge stainless steel. You just take two lengths. I just take one length and double it and put the open ends in my drill bit and my drill. Hold the other end with a screwdriver. Turn the drill on. Just let it twist it up to however twisted you want to get it. Eventually it'll break, but just let the drill just twist the tube up. That's an real old way of making a coil wire, and it's just twisted. And you can do two, you can do three. I think you probably, I don't know if you can do four. It might get the looking kind of screwed up. Yeah, you do get better performance than a single round wire. And it also, of course, I believe it lowers your ohms than you would have gotten. Actually, it depends on how you're looking at it. If you, let's say you did a parallel coil with two strands of 28, okay, you're going to have real low ohms. If you took the two wires and twisted them together, it's going to be a higher ohm reading. And it's even going to be a higher ohm reading than let's say if you took a 24 gauge or 20, no, I don't know about 26, but let's say you bumped it up to a 24 gauge round wire to get the same circumference. The two twisted 28s are going to give you a little higher ohm reading. But it doesn't do the thing that a parallel coil does. It doesn't drop them or cut them in half or whatever the parallel does. I know the parallel does cuts them. I think it cuts the ohms in half of a single, if I remember correctly. I've done a few of those. But yeah, you get better from twisted than you get from a single. And they're extremely easy to do. I twisted me up some the other day for an MTL wire. I think it was three strands of 32 nichrome. I twisted up. I hadn't tried it yet, but I did it just for the fun, just to see. But I was going to use that in an MTL build and kind of compare the difference between it and a sure enough MTL Clapton situation. You know, that was what I was going to compare it with. I just hadn't got around to it. There's Aaron. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for dropping by. I hope I'm saying that right. If not, I apologize. It's one of the things it's I've had to explain. I don't know how many deals I go to. If I pop in a chat room on somebody else's show that uh, different country or whatever, where they don't know me at all, they they don't really. Well, they to a degree it doesn't bother me whatsoever. But anyhow, they kind of make fun of my name. They think it's a thing, whatever the hell they're called, and I say no, that's my real name. It's not a handle or whatever the hell the term is. I don't even know the term, but yeah, it's my real name. Yeah, I don't know if you were in here yet, Mongo, but I ordered I was talking about earlier, I ordered the little Iron Fist Caliburn pod system because I think it's just for a backup, basically, because my little EVO pod system that I use when I go to town and whatnot, it's old as hell, and it's got to be, if it died tomorrow, I wouldn't be mad or anything because it's old as the hills. And so I ordered one of those little Iron Fist UL Caliburn things. Only trouble I got with it, just from looking at it, of course, I mean, it's pod system. You can't. It's really hard to expect a pod system to be completely flawless. And but whenever I get it, I'll point it out in the review too. The only problem I saw with it was where and how they mounted the little pod. It looked like if you dropped it and it landed right, let's say on the drip tip or right on the pod itself, it might crack it or break it. That was the only thing I did, that right out, just by looking at it, that was the only negative I could see. I did like the fact though, and I hope I think it's going to be true once I get it in my hands. I did like the fact that if the coil leaked a little bit or you got the condensation, that it kind of went like straight on down, maybe through the little pod holder thing and didn't go into the electronics. Yeah, the little box itself, I believe, is aluminum. So it was just like they hung all the other shit, all the little plastic shit on the side. That was, because that was one of the little benefits. Of course, my other little EVL thing, it's all plastic, but I just never dropped it. Where is my deal? Oh, no, I don't even see it anymore. Where did it disappear to? Well, oh well. Looks like it disappeared. Well, there's a little cocoa thing from the original cocoa. Hell, it was like all aluminum, except for the drip tip where it stuck out, And of course, even on that one, it had them fucked up fill method that you crack the damn drip tip off of it. So even if you did drop it and it hit the drip tip, maybe it would just pop off, thinking you were wanting to fill it and not do any damage. But yeah, the rest of the whole little thing was aluminum. So It was top notch in my opinion. The only trouble with it was those damn piece of shit pods they had wore out. The tops wore out. Wouldn't hold a vacuum. Wouldn't stay clicked on real good. They call that something engineered something. It's like engineered breakdown or engine. They got a name for it. The industry does. It's to make you buy more. So the damn thing has like a limited life and you got to buy another one. I haven't actually. I think I only broke one tank myself, and it fell out of my pocket, and it was a real old glass. It was a real old tank. The glass was unprotected. It was pretty big, and it fell out of my pocket onto some concrete and broke the glass. That's the only one I've ever broke. Now my wife, oh my God, she went through so many of those K-Fun V3 minis. Oh shit, I couldn't even count how many of those. And she didn't break the glass. The weak point on them was the 510. Is how it all went together at the bottom. The way the 510 went together, it was a weak point. And if you dropped the mod and it hit the tank, say the tank hit first and put it in a bind, it would either break or bend or mess up the way the 510 bolted together, you might say. And she went through so many of them, I lost count. But we cured all that for her because we got her a Innocon's Glide tank. And the neat thing about, I've said this before, the neat thing about the Innocon deal, these coils, each coil comes with a brand new 510. So if you drop it and for some reason it hits hard enough, let's say it just snaps that 510 off. Well, guess what? Put another coil in, you're good to go. It's like, damn. Makes you wonder why nobody else come up with this idea. Because it makes the coils a little more expensive. Maybe that's why. But that's the really neat thing about that whole system. And it's any of their coils like this. I think they're Z coils, they call them. Come in a real nice range. Yeah, anytime you replace a coil, you're replacing the 510 connection. So if you do break it, it hits and it damages that 510. Well, just throw a new coil in, you're good to go. I thought that was just neater than shit. Well, now let me make sure we're talking about the same deal first, Andrew, and I'll show you. Let me get one of them down. Make sure we're talking about the same tank. Oh, surely there's one sitting up here. I still got brand new ones in a damn box. Yeah. Make sure we're talking about the same tank. That drip tip don't fit it. Well, this don't have a drip tip on it. But is that the one you're talking about? That's what I call a V3 Mini. It's what is it? 18 maybe? Little bitty thing as far as going around. It's real similar. Most in design to the. Yeah, it's an 18. Nah, it's a 20 at the base. Call it a 20 at the base. Yeah, the V3 Mini. Yeah. Okay. Here's how I kept it from leaking. The leak I always had was from this bottom, that square piece there. That was the leak where it would always, because the 510 had a nice little insulator and O-ring to boot. But you take the other leak I had was from around there, and you simply find an O-ring that would fit down in there, because on the inside it's round. Find an O-ring that fit down in there, and it was big enough to where when you put it together, it contacted the top and contacted the bottom, and then that sealed that little square piece up. I mean, if you took it apart, you would have liquid there, but it wasn't going anywhere. It couldn't go nowhere. But that's what I did to them. But yeah, these were good little tanks. Of course, they had a little small K-Fun deck and damn good flavor. But yeah, it's because of the way that's designed on the bottom here. When you drop it, if it hits the tank part, puts it down bind, it damages, bends, or breaks the little 510 off. And that's what would happen. Because every time she'd drop it, that's the way it would land. So that's the way we were. I still got 2 or 3 of these brand new in a box. Because they're clones, they're not authentics. None of that shit was authentic. But yeah. Let's see what's in here. Yeah, still got a little bitty coil in it. Little round wire coil. Little round wire coil. It's nasty. But I never had a leak from the that come out of the air intakes, the air intake holes. I never had a problem with it leaking. Trouble I had was down here at the bottom. And if I remember right, didn't these have been a jillion years since I messed with one of these? Let me look at it right quick. Yeah, because this wasn't you took this off. Yeah, that's right. You took that off to adjust your airflow. Now, you see that big old O-ring I got in there? See how big that fat that thing is? Yeah, that's the way I cured that. You can see it. Let me watch. See that? Now you can't. It's hard to see them. Can't see it that way. Anyhow, when you go to put the little top on, you actually got some springiness there because it's having to compress that O-ring. So it seals all that up. Then if you got good O-rings on your 510 pin here, and you get it nice and tight, you won't have a leak at this spot. But I did experience lots of leaks from that. Yeah, Neil. In fact, I got one. No, I don't have one sitting here. I got one. It's in there by the. I might even have 2 going at the moment. In fact, I think I do. What are these? Maybe just 1. No, I got 2 of those going in there by my recliner. I do have the largest air pin in. I hadn't taken the air pin out. Yeah, I hadn't taken it out. The biggest one works okay for me, so that's the way I've left it. Now I was going to ask you, Neil, the other night I asked you, but you didn't. I don't think you saw my question. We was in a chat room, one of the chat rooms. Anyhow, did you say you got a dead rabbit MTL? I remember you saying something about you had got a dead rabbit something here recently. But yeah, Andrew, those are good little tanks. I mean, flavor, you know, especially if you're doing an MTL and high neck MTL, say an NET, shit, that'd be perfect for that. I think. I like these, actually like these little minis better than the primes. I've got several primes, and for flavor, I think these do better on flavor than the damn primes do. For me. Come on. Lid's getting wore out. The Dead Rabbit R. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sub-on cool. All right. Well, I saw a video on that little Dead Rabbit MTL. Was waiting to see what the pricing on it was going to be, and or whether or not somebody was going to clone it. There was one little thing I didn't care for on it, just by looks. Of course, a lot of times you really shouldn't judge things that way, but it looked fairly interesting. There was something on it I think I liked. I don't remember now what it was, but I remember it piqued my interest, and I remember you said something about a dead rabbit. You just got some kind of dead rabbit thing. I had a rabbit running around my yard the other day, but I didn't try to grab it and vape it. Had a little chipmunk that wanted to be buddies with me the other day. He kept running in and out of the garage and whatnot. Wasn't that scared of me. My neighbor, if y'all remember, Stan, that came in one time, he's gotten his chipmunks to where they'll eat out of his hand. They'll eat peanuts out of his hand. I call them chipmunks. Some people call them ground squirrels. They look more like a chipmunk than they do a squirrel, so I call them chipmunks. Now, Neil, wait a minute. It's the one with the built-in sub-ohm. Now, was that one of those that sub-ohm coils you took apart and replaced the mesh and all that kind of stuff? Is that what you're talking about, Neil? Or did this thing have a deck? Maybe I should look it up so we can be on the same page. Okay, but built in the deck. Oh, are you of legal age? Would you know if I wasn't? Yes, that's the stupidest shit I've ever seen. Well, hell. Come on, give me a picture. Yeah, well, might have to look that up later. Now, I have noticed on my uh, rust rabbit hole that I have not experienced any rust with regular, what you would call throwaway coils, even though I've had some that I have rebuilt myself. And even like that, the one Neil's talking about, that the Tofu Smart one, it comes with a little kit so you can replace all that stuff. I've never took one of those apart and there was any rust on the mesh. And I know for a fact a lot of them were Kanthal mesh, and I have never experienced that. And I have actually taken some of them and run them through my ultrasonic cleaner several times. And eventually they just totally died, and I took them apart, to replace the mesh, and the cotton was just burnt. That was it. There was no rust, In fact, the mesh was fine, but there was no rust, no nothing. I've never experienced any rust on that. You know, I'm sure you were talking about Google there, Neil, but I have noticed lately. I notice things. A lot of people say, "Well, you're just a conspiracy theory." Well, yeah, the ability. There again, you're gonna think I'm tooting my own horn, but I see little patterns and whatnot that most people miss. And to give you a prime example, this house I'm sitting in, which the casino paid for because I noticed a pattern that shouldn't have been there, and exploited that pattern. So the casino built me a house for free. And so it wasn't my imagination. But on my YouTube, on my just personal YouTube, it's amazing, when you just start kind of surfing and you're looking at the recommendations, what is recommended for you to watch. Okay. Well, every now and then, I want to do research on something. So I'll do a search and maybe watch one video of something, a particular category. Okay. Now it seems like if I do a search for anything to do with vaping, okay, or lately, if I did a search for anything to do with the Bud Light boycott, or stuff that was right wing, you might say, stuff YouTube didn't want you to see. If you actually did a search, you found you some videos, you marked them, and then you watched. Let's say you watched half a dozen of the damn things, but there were videos that YouTube didn't want you to really watch. Guess what? Nothing in that category appears in my recommended line. Yet I can watch one video on something else, something DIY or something, how to do so and so. I can watch one, and I get 24 recommendations in that category, and everything that you could even halfway tie to that category. Here you go. You need to watch these. Well, funny you didn't give me no recommendations of these other ones that you didn't want me to watch. I mean, it's so obvious. It's just blatant. Their discrimination. It's amazing. But it's gotten so bad. It's just obvious. I mean, I might get one, two in the category of stuff they don't want you to watch. I might get one or two, but I don't get half a dozen like I do if I just watch one damn video of something they want you to watch. It's amazing. Yeah, Andrew, there's you don't want to, you hate to do that. But there are companies, that's one of the ways they verify, that you are you and everything. And, you're not little Johnny that got a hold of daddy's credit card. That's just one of the ways they go about doing it. I've had to do that on, I think, one or two deals. And even there's a lot of some of the Chinese sites at first, long time ago, they either wanted that or they wanted an actual picture of you holding your credit card. I think it was to keep them from getting burnt. They weren't going to abuse it. Now, the way I got around that way back in the day, before PayPal went woke, was just if you used PayPal. Back in the day, back when you could buy vape shit with PayPal, if you used PayPal, they were happy with that because it kind of either got the monkey off their back, or they were happy that PayPal had verified you and you were legit to have an account and everything. And yeah, if you used PayPal, it zipped right through. But they, of course, then PayPal, got woke and, oh, we're not going to do vaping stuff no more. Well, guess what? You're not getting my business anymore. Sorry. See you later. Thank you. Yeah, Neil, that's a fact. I swear to God. Yeah, that is a fact. You're being watched. Even if you're careful. I've seen that happen on my Amazon recommendation thing. I see it there more. Uh, it's more obvious on my Amazon deal. It's like you just Google something, and just to see about it or whatever. Just one inquiry, and the next day, here's this email from Amazon. Hey, if you're interested in these, look here, we got some. Yeah, it's a mess. It really is. Oh, forgot to mention. I mentioned this. If any of y'all caught our Chuck's daytime show, which I'm on, and if you're interested, it comes on at how to tell you what to. I just 3 o'clock Eastern time. Put it that way on Tuesdays in the afternoon, 3 p.m. Eastern. Do your math. depending on where you're at. Anyhow, I'm usually on it, and if y'all want to tune in and watch, very few vaping topics, but if you just want to watch some old people sit around and bullshit each other, that's anyhow. What was that? I didn't forget my point I was going to make. What was it about? It was something I mentioned. Oh yeah, we sold out of cinnamon rolls this weekend at the farmers market. Completely sold out. First time I've done that since I started selling them. Of course, this was the, I think, fourth Saturday that it's been opened. But yeah, this weekend we sold out. So this Friday I'm gonna make a few more. Not a whole bunch more, but a few more. Yeah, I thought we were having a pretty good little show myself. We didn't. And I don't know. Of course, everybody's preferences are different. Some of y'all might want a buffet. We hadn't done a buffet yet on that show, and that's fine with me because, uh, you know, shit, you can waste 30 minutes of your show doing a damn buffet. If I have somebody like today, what's his name? Let me go back up. Mongo asked what I was vaping. I told him, I don't mind showing if somebody asks, but to waste 30 minutes of a show on a buffet is, if you need filler that bad, you need to do a little more research on your filler. Be more interactive with your chat. Something along that line. But we hadn't done one of those yet. I hope we don't start myself. I can go either way though. No, Neil, I think I'm pretty maxed out at the price right now. I get $5 a piece for the damn thing, and I just make more. I mean, I think I figured it up. I could make 4 batches. We sold out Saturday making 2 batches, and so Friday I'm gonna make 2.5 batches, and go with that. But yeah, I saw your comment the other day on they was gonna audit me on how much sugar I was buying. I guarantee you, if I still lived in Kentucky, I would be on a list because of how much sugar I'm buying. I would be on a list because up there they watch. If you buy a lot of sugar, you buy a lot of corn. There's certain ingredients if you buy a lot of, you get put on the moonshiner list. And they kind of keep an eye on you, or at least you're on the list. And yeah, if I was another one of them things they track, simply, especially if you use those little discount cards at the grocery store. Well, that's good, said Mo1. Thanks. He basically just does lives, and I think he's got a few real old videos, maybe of vaping videos, but his forte is kind of live shows. But yeah, I would be on a list if I still lived up there, because I'm buying way more sugar than a normal person would buy. No, Andrew, we're not. We are. We've been on keto so long that we have totally adapted to it, and uh, we have complete self control when it comes to that. Plus, uh, I make keto desserts. I mean, I have a version. It's not really a cinnamon roll. It's more of a cinnamon cake, but it's real similar to a cinnamon roll. It's just in a cake fashion that I make us that you can eat the whole damn thing if you want to. And if you count it as a meal, you can eat the whole damn cake and you're fine. It's, it's healthy. It's good. It doesn't hurt you. And you're great. And I make us, keto desserts for us. But we do have a tremendous, we built up tremendous self control because we've been on keto for so long that it doesn't really affect us. And then, like I say, both of us have actually cured our type 2 diabetes. So if we wanted to have one, if we had some left over and we wanted to have just one, it wouldn't do any damage. So, but we really don't. We just if we do have some leftovers, we usually give them away. No, Neil, that's the only thing I've done so far is the cinnamon rolls. I did put in an application because I do the cottage food thing, and I'm real limited on what I can sell and what I can't sell under that cottage food law thing. I did an application for a what I call transparent tarts. It was a local deal up in Kentucky. They have transparent pies all over the damn U.S., but every one of them is almost a different recipe. And they had some up there in Kentucky. They called them transparent tarts because it was a little tart. It wasn't a pie. But I was thinking about making those, and they said if I wanted to make them, I would have to make some and send them off to this lab and have them checked for water content and pH level. And if they passed, then I could sell them. And I hadn't went to that trouble. No, vegetables do not. It's only cooked or prepared items. Yeah, you can sell, like if you had a vegetable garden in your backyard, you could sell them all day long. No problem. It's only items that are prepared in your kitchen at home. And actually, if you prepare them, let's say you had access to a commercial kitchen somewhere, and that's where you prepared the items, then you would have to be licensed by the real health inspectors then. See, the cottage food law it's a good thing in a way because it gets you around having to have your kitchen inspected by a health official. Of course, I mean, I do shit the right way. I mean, I ain't gonna make nobody sick. I've had food poisoning, nearly damn sure died, and so I'm on the up and up. But yeah, it gets you around the health inspector thing a little bit for small people, that make small amounts and sell at farmers markets and that kind of stuff. And not every state, the laws are not the same in every state. Not every state even has a cottage food law. So it varies differently from state to state. But anyhow, they wouldn't pass my, just on I never even gave them the recipe. I just called it a transparent tart. Well, just on that deal, they wouldn't pass it. They claimed it was a custard, even though it's not a custard. It's not even close to a custard. But anyhow, they said if I wanted to appeal it, just to I'd have to bake some and send them off and have them tested. And I think it only cost about most $20. So. But in reality, This is back when I first started. In reality, that was all good and fine, but now I I wouldn't have time to make them anyhow. You know, it takes all day just to make the damn cinnamon rolls. I wouldn't have time to make any damn transparent tarts. So it didn't really matter. Oh, mercy. I don't even know if I can pronounce that. Gugliski? Maybe? How you doing? Thanks for dropping by. Yeah, a lot of people, you get a mild case of food poisoning. It's not that big a deal, but I got it severe, and I really thought I was going to die. I was in fear of my life, and ooh, that one time was enough for me, man. Shit, everything in my kitchen is sanitized, cleaned, and uh, uh, my wife's the world's worst. When she tries to cook something, she'll cross contaminate the whole fucking house. And I try to explain to her, what cross contamination is, and she just don't seem to understand. I finally just run her out and do it myself, and that solves the problem. But yeah, it's like, a lot of people say, well, you only got to, if you're cooking bacon chicken, let's say in the oven, you only got to heat it to 185 degrees. No. I'm heating my shit to at least 200. Checking it with a good digital thermometer, sticking it down in the meat. Yeah, it's going to 200. Ain't no 185 shit. No. You can cry that your chicken's overcooked if you want to, but yeah, it's going to 200 degrees before I put it in my mouth. And that's chicken. I might do, if I'm doing a steak, now I will eat a steak medium well. I don't even know what temperature that is, but I don't eat rare. All right, Neil. Thanks for dropping by, buddy. We ain't gonna be in here much longer. Yeah, Andrew. The word transparent, it gets thrown around a lot over here, but this was one particular place in Kentucky that sold these things, and that's just what they called them. But if you go to really digging in, the transparent pie and a chess pie is those interchange in certain parts of the country, but this thing is basically, the filling in this is like basically pure sugar. It's like pure sugar and eggs, and it's been baked until the top browns. The sugar browns in like a creme brulee type deal, and crusts over. You know what I'm talking about with the sugar, and yeah, but it's. I mean, I know how to make basic homemade custard, and that ain't what this is. I mean, there's no, the only similar ingredient is eggs. I mean, there's eggs in it, but they're cooked to the point to the sugar actually browns, and it gets that little burnt crust on top. But I think they would pass if I was to set them off. But like I say, in reality, I ended up don't even have time to do them. So. Well, guys, I tell you what, looks like we've rambled on for way over 2 hours today. Wow. I had no intention of going this long to start with, but when you got good people in chat to converse with, time just flies by. So I think we're going to end it there today, and I want to thank everybody for coming in chat. and participating. And thank everybody that watched it. Didn't come in chat. That's fine. Hell, there's some shows I don't go in chat in a lot of shows. Some of them I do, some of them I don't. But anyhow, I appreciate you stopping by, coming in and watching. And if you're watching the replay, thanks for watching the replay. Remember, you can always leave a comment on the replays, just like you can on normal videos. And at this point in time, I don't see why we can't have another show next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. So have a good afternoon, a good night, or a good morning, depending on where you're at. We'll see you next time.